Krishna says, "Why this cowardice in the time of crisis, Arjuna? The coward is ignoble, shameful, foreign to the ways of heaven. Don't yield to impotence, it is unnatural to you. Banish this petty weakness from your heart. Rise to fight, Arjuna." Arjuna responds, saying, "Krishna, how can I fight against Bhishma and Drona with arrows when they deserve my worship? It is better in this world to beg for scraps of food than to eat meals smeared with the blood of elders I killed at the height of their power, while their goals were still dishonest. We don't know which weight is worse to bear, our conquering them or their conquering us. We do not want to live if we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra assembled before us. The flaw of pity blights my very being. Conflicting sacred duties confound my reason. I ask you to tell me decisively, which is better? I am your pupil. Teach me what I see. I see nothing that can drive away the grief that withers my senses, even if I won kingdoms of unrivaled wealth on earth and sovereignty over gods." Sanjaya says, Arjuna told this to Krishna, then saying, "I shall not fight," and he fell silent. Walking him gently, Krishna gave him counsel, as Arjuna sat dejected between two armies. Lord Krishna says, "You grieve for those beyond grief, and you speak of words of insight, but learned men do not grieve for the dead or for the living. Neither have I existed nor you, nor these kings, and never in the future shall we cease to exist. Just as the embodied self enters childhood, youth, and old age, so does it enter another body. This does not confound a steadfast man. Contacts with matter make us feel heat and cold, pleasure and pain. Arjuna, you must learn to endure fleeting things. They come and they go. When these cannot torment a man, when suffering and joy are equal, for him he has courage. He is fit for immortality. Nothing of non-being comes to be, nor does being cease to exist. The boundary between the two is seen by men who see reality. Indestructible is the presence that pervades all this. No one can destroy this unchanging reality. Our bodies are known to end, but the embodied self is enduring, indestructible, and immeasurable. Therefore, Arjuna, fight the battle. He who thinks the self is a killer, and he who thinks it killed, both fail to understand. He does not kill, nor is he killed. It is not born, it does not die. Having been, it will never be. Unborn, enduring, constant, and primordial. It is not killed when the body is killed. Arjuna, when a man knows a self to be indestructible, enduring, unborn, and changing, how does he kill or causes anyone to kill? As a man discards worn-out clothes to put on new and different ones, so does the embodied self discards its worn-out bodies to take on other newer ones. Weapons do not cut it, fire does not burn it, water does not wet it, wind does not wither it. It cannot be cut or burned. It cannot be wet or withered. It is enduring, all-pervasive, fixed, moving, and timeless. It is called unmanifest, inconceivable, and immutable. Since you know that to be so, you should not grieve. If you think of its birth and death as ever recurring, then too, great warrior, you have no cause to grieve. Death is certain for anyone born, and birth is certain for anyone dead. Yet, the cycle is inevitable. You have no cause to grieve. Creatures are unmanifest in origin, manifest in the midst of life, and unmanifest again at the end. Since This is so. Why do you lament? Rarely someone sees it. Rarely another one speaks it. Rarely anyone hears it. No one really knows it. The self embodied in the body of every being is indestructible. You have no cause to grieve for all these creatures. Look to your own duty. Do not tremble before it. Nothing is better for a warrior than a battle sacred. The doors of heaven open, and for warriors who rejoice to have a battle like this, thrust on them by chance, if you fail to wage this war of sacred duty, you will abandon your own duty and fame only to gain. People will tell you of your undying shame, and for a man of honor, shame is worse than death. Great chariot warriors will think you deserted in fear of battle. You will be despised by those who held in high esteem. If you are killed, you win heaven. If you triumph, enjoy the earth. Therefore, Arjuna, resolve to fight the battle. Impartial to joy and suffering, gain and loss, victory and defeat. Arm yourself for the battle lest you fall to evil. Understanding is defined in terms of philosophy. Now, here in it, spiritual discipline. Armed with this understanding, Arjuna, you will escape the bondage of action. No effort in this world is lost or wasted. Fragment of sacred duty saves you from great fear. This understanding is unique in its inner core of resolve. Diffuse and pointless are the ways the resolute men understand. Undiscerning men who delight in the tenets of ritual lore utter florid speech proclaiming there is nothing else. Driven by desire, they strive after heaven and contrive to win powers and delights, but their intricate ritual language bears only the fruit of action and growth. Obsessed with powers and delights, their reason lost in words, they do not find in contemplation their understanding of inner resolve. Arjuna, the realm of sacred lore, is nature beyond its triad of qualities, dualities, and mundane rewards. Be forever lucid, alive to yourself. For the discerning priest, all of sacred lore has no more value than a well of water that flows everywhere. Be intent on action, not on the fruits of action. Avoid attraction to the fruits and attachment to inaction. Perform actions firm in discipline, relinquishing attachment. Be impartial to failure and success. This quality is called discipline. Arjuna, action is far inferior to the discipline of understanding, so seek refuge in understanding. Pitfall, absolutely pitiful, are men drawn by fruits of action. Disciplined by understanding, one abandons both good and bad deeds, so arm yourself for discipline. Discipline is skill in actions. When your understanding passes the swamp of delusion, you'll be indifferent to all. This is heard in sacred lore. When your understanding turns from sacred lore to stand fixed, immovable in contemplation, then you'll reach discipline. Arjuna asks, Krishna, what defines a man deep in contemplation, whose insight and thought are sure? How should he speak? How would he sit? How would he move? Lord Krishna responds, when he gives up desires in his mind, is content within himself, then he's said to be a man whose insight is sure, Arjuna. When suffering does not disturb his mind, when his craving for pleasures has vanished, when attraction, fear, and anger are gone, he is called a sage whose thought is sure. When he shows no preference in fortune or misfortune, and neither exalts nor hates, his insight is sure. When, like a tortoise retracting its limbs, he withdraws its senses completely from sensuous objects, his insight is sure. Sensuous objects fade when the embodied self abstains from food. Taste lingers, but it too fades in the vision of higher truth. Even when a man of wisdom tries to control them, Arjuna, the bewildered senses attack his mind with violence. Controlling them all with discipline, he should focus on me. When his senses are under control, his insight is sure. Brooding about sensuous objects makes attachment to them grow. From attachment, desire arises. From desire, anger is formed. From anger comes confusion. From confusion, memory lapses. From broken memory, understanding is lost. From loss of understanding, he is ruined. But a man of inner strength whose senses experience objects without attraction and hatred and self-control finds serenity. And serenity, all his sorrows dissolve, his reasoning becomes serene, his understanding sure. Without discipline, he has no rules or inner power. Without inner power, he has no peace. And without peace, where's joy? If he submits to the play of the senses, they drive away insight as wind drives a ship on water. So, great warrior, when withdrawal of the senses from sense objects is complete, discernment is firm. When it is night for all creatures, a master of restraint is awake. When they are awake, it is night for the sage who sees reality. As the mountainous depths of the ocean are removed when waters rush into it, so the man, unmoved when desire enter him, attains a peace that eludes the man with many desires. When he renounces all desires and acts without craving, possessiveness or individuality, he finds peace. This is the place of the infinite spirit. Achieving it, one is freed from delusion. Abiding in it, even at the time of death, one finds pure calm.